Welcome to Captive Conversations. I'm your host, Adam from Captive Wi-Fi. Join us as we dive into behind-the-scenes stories of hospitality leaders, exploring tech, operations, and marketing through the eyes of the experts. Let's get the inside scoop together. Fucking hell.
At least it's only the first.
That's recording. This wasn't recording. Technology challenges. Okay, so we do it again.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. This is episode 17 with Prithvi from Sentiment Search. We've been working together for a little while, and he's been away, but he's back now. And we should be having more content from him soon, because your content is much better than mine, which I really enjoy. And we're going to learn more about you and so on. So give everyone a virtual wave, because if they watch it, they can see on the camera. And we're going to start with some questions from the last guest. And that was David Bird from Impact Data. Hi, David. The question is, as technology continues to evolve, how do you see the role of artificial intelligence transforming the guest experience in the hospitality industry over the next 5 years? Before you answer, where did he get the answers from? The questions from, sorry.
Where did he get the
Where
questions?
did you think he gets the questions from?
This is a classic question, right? I mean,
But where do you think he got the questions from?
Like ChatGPT.
Yes!
Oh, my God.
Sorry, David. You did tell me. So, he was like, this is a great one. And then I told him it was you. He was like, this is perfect. So, anyway. But I'll let you continue.
The role of AI in the hospitality industry, you're saying, in the coming years, in the next 5 years?
Yeah, what do you see, how it transforming the guest experience? So not just, back-end technology, but the guest experience for AI.
See, honestly, I'm not sure. What I do know is people have this very romantic idea about humans and machines working together. I don't think it's that romantic. Like the sole purpose of AI is to increase operational efficiencies.
Yeah.
And that inevitably means replacing the human workforce to a degree. So I know it's going to take a bigger and bigger part. ChatGPT, for example, I mean, now we have features in Sentiment Search where we can automate replies. We can automate bulk replies. It's very bespoke.
Dave was mentioning it yesterday.
It uses the brand tone of voice. So inevitably, it will eat more and more into the human workforce. But currently, as it stands, yes, I think the most people say that the hospitality experience itself has to have the human touch, which is correct. However, again, this is our generation, our era. We don't know what the next generation will be like. It's very possible people prefer to have service completely digital.
So if we bring it back a bit, because 5 years is quite a lot, and things are changing the whole time. What do you see maybe in 2 years or a year? Like, what do you think? I mean, I was in an event about 4 or 5 years ago,
right?
And 4 years ago, Seven Rooms did an event around the corner from here, and you had the guy, I think CEO of Seven Rooms, or one of the directors here, he was saying, obviously they're linked with Google. He goes, wouldn't it be nice? We were thinking about building either glasses or an earbud. So as you walk around the room, the earbud is telling the maitre d' or the waiter, this is table 17, this is what they're eating, this is what course they're on, they've just finished these round of drinks, because obviously there's integrations.
Right.
Because there's coursing now. So if you go up to the front desk now, and you have Seven Rooms, and you have a POS that works with them, and they say, I want a table for two, they can look at the tables, and they can see which course they're on. But back then they were saying, wouldn't it be it's something that they were looking at entertaining was, and that helps the guest experience, because then, Adam, thanks so much for coming again. This is your 7th visit. The maitre d's not there anymore, is it?
Right.
So I think the big hotels are doing it quite nicely. You go to a really nice hotel and it's drilled into them. You go play squash or cricket,
right? And
then you come back in and they're like, Mr. Foreman, how was your tennis game, whatever it might be,
right?
So I think I see that help changing more. But I get, it's a challenge, isn't it?
The personalization, yes, absolutely. Yeah. That will inevitably get better and better with AI. But I think just as a general trend, it will start eating into the workforce, which people think is perhaps not that true, but it is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've got flipping burgers now and making coffee. You've got AI machine making a coffee.
Yeah.
So Blank Street Coffee next is going to be having no one in it.
No, exactly. Because to me, it's very alien to have, let's say, like a classic Hollywood scenario. A robot serves me like my full 3-course meal at a restaurant.
Yeah.
To me, that's a very alien concept. And I'm actually repulsed by technology because I would deal with it all day long.
Yeah.
But the next generation could be completely different, right? So we have to be much more open-minded. Just because it doesn't appeal to us, we have to still think what is the industry heading towards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's more and more automation.
Yeah, I get that. I think, listen, the human touch has always got to be there. And if you want the guest experience, you're not going to be greeted by a robot. It's not going to be the best guest experience.
Not for now, but maybe in the future. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past anyone.
Boston Dynamics, their bots are getting looking cleverer and cleverer.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so the next question is: what are some of the most innovative tech solutions you've seen recently that have the potential to significantly improve operational efficiency in hospitality businesses, and not your product?
Of course, not my product.
It sort of leads into the best tech, but yeah, I mean.
So, there are quite a few, to be honest, but the one that people tech generally is an area which I was not familiar with at all. It never came to my mind, and there's been such an explosion of people tech companies in the last few years. I think that is actually a very nice new era to be in. There's a big gap there. You introduced me to a couple of people, Blend AI, for example.
Yeah.
I really like what those guys are doing, and that really excites me as an entrepreneur and as an innovator.
Yeah, I think that anything that can retain your staff is a winner for me.
And that's, again, personalization, but for the back office.
Yeah,
right?
What he was saying to me was very interesting. He was saying, just to touch on it quickly, he was saying if you work on the line, cook line, for example, and you're taught how to make a sushi roll,
right,
and you're new, you want to learn, and the chef shows you, or the guy comes in from up, shows you how to make it all. You got it? And you go, yeah, I've got it. Now, you've been there for now 6 months, but you've been doing it wrong for 6 months. And then you train 5 other people. Later on, you've got 30 people all doing it wrong.
Right.
And the benefit of their platform is that you can just bring up your iPhone, double check, hold on, that was wrong. Or do quizzes and so on. And then the more you do well, the better attention you have. So I think you're right. I think that tech on its own it needs to explode. And then you can feed it into loyalty and everything else.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, I like that. Okay, next questions. These are 2 standard questions. We go to the other questions at the end. Best hospitality experience?
I'm in the industry, but I'm actually a caveman. So I'm at my desk all day long. But
I feel you.
The rare times I do go out, Indian Accent is one restaurant that the original one's actually in Delhi in India.
Yeah.
They opened up another one in New York.
They opened one here.
Which
and
shut
I
down.
work with him. I wrote it. I know the owner.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I
so
met
his
him.
son went to my school, actually.
Oh, really?
And we're really close friends.
That place, it upset me. It was another restaurant.
Yes.
It was, and they rebranded, refurbished everything. It was in Mayfair.
Yes,
and
it used to be Chor Bazaar before,
yeah,
actually.
Chor Bazaar, right?
Yeah.
And we were there we helped them all throughout. I have to say, the work ethic for everyone working there and the food.
Right.
I've never experienced anything like, from the hospitality
Exactly.
to everything. And it was not a very big restaurant. And I didn't know the power of it. Like, you just mention Indian Accent, and it's like world renowned. So
Exactly. So that's one place where I'll remember the rest of my life. All 3: the Delhi one, the London one, and the one in New York. Absolutely mind-blowing experience.
yeah, they really do take it to the next level. Like, everything is over
Correct.
for it. So I wish there was another. I wish they would come back here.
And coming back to the human touch, like, that's one place where you can really get the true power of the human touch.
Yes.
Right? It's so personalized.
Well, it's drilled into them as well, right? So
yeah.
I think, is it Michelin? Is it what? It's like a super. The one in India is like.
It's not a Michelin star restaurant, but
it's like nearly there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know what the formal certification is or whatever it is,
Yes.
but it's very well renowned.
Yeah. I wish they would come back here. To be fair, it was a nice team to work with, and the food was just awesome. Not saying there isn't nice food here as well, but they were amazing.
That's crazy, though. You know the owner. I mean, that's a small world.
It's a small world. Listen, it's 3 degrees separation. To be honest with you. Okay, so best hospitality tech. And no self-nom, so not you. We sort of touched it a little bit before, but
yeah, I think
I know who you might say. With
I
this
mean,
one.
again, like Blend AI, I was very impressed by what they did.
Yes,
I should get paid for sponsoring them pretty much.
I keep telling him it's like he needs to start shelling out some. Yeah,
but these people like startups are really of interest to me, and I think Blend is one that I'm really impressed by.
Nice. Okay. Well done, Joe. No, you did well. No, I think Des is awesome, and his podcast is amazing. The story behind it, how it was built, everything. I think it's really clever. Okay, we're going to go back in time to the beginning, where it all began. I guess it's not just the journey into hospitality tech; it's more of just a journey into tech. Of what you did, because we've spoken before. I sort of have had a chat with you about where things have come from and so on. But let everyone know, so where it all started, what you did before all of this, and then let people so we can understand the how you fell into it.
Yeah, my background's actually software development, AI, data engineering, data science. I did my undergrad in that, my postgrad in that. I worked for a number of companies as a data scientist, data engineer, small, big, all sorts, and I think I always knew that I was going to leave the 9 to 5 to do something on my own.
Yeah, well, 24/7. Yeah,
Yeah. Ironically, you have to like work your way to buy your freedom.
yeah.
I think it was my first iPhone that I was buying on Amazon. I was just looking at the reviews, and there were like 4,000 or 5,000 reviews, and immediately I understood there's 400 pages. Who in their right mind is going to read past the first page?
Yeah.
But having said that, there's so much data there that can offer a business insight as to what is being mentioned about the product. And that's literally how it started.
Yeah.
So I started building an algorithm to go to Amazon reviews, read reviews, understand how it works.
So you're just scraping the reviews in?
Just scraping the reviews.
Yeah.
And I have a very deep-rooted passion for like exploration and AI. So I wanted to see how can I apply the state-of-the-art tech to free text and language.
Yeah.
And so I spent like 2 or 3 years just writing algorithms to process text. And then the other side is what really annoys me as an entrepreneur is when I see a company, I worked in these companies myself, where you have the sales team selling the new hot thing, okay, AI, marketing, all the buzzwords, machine learning, and then you have the engineers.
Yeah.
And the marketing guys don't know anything about AI, and the AI guys, and the AI guys don't know anything about business and use cases. And so I really get annoyed when I see, okay, you're selling this, but what the product does is so different. So I wanted to almost go out and say, look, this is the actual, I can actually use it to its potential because I understand both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
And so that's how it sort of got me into the entrepreneur area.
So did you just build that as your project for yourself?
Yeah, it was a side hustle. I built it as no intention of becoming a company, just purely for the joy of
you were
programming.
playing, basically, weren't you? You like playing.
Yeah.
It's a play. You're like, I'm going to have a little tinker at this.
Yeah, and then funnily enough, actually, while I was in this very miserable 9-to-5 job, I went to LA for 10 days. I met some friends there, and I had an absolute blast. And at the time, I didn't make much money, and I spent like $1,000 in one day to hire an Audi R8. And I drove that car for one day, and I said, if I go back to that miserable job, I'm never going to be
So that was a turning point.
So that was like that was the point where I said, okay, I need to quit my job. I have something that's very that can make money. That if I put my effort into it, it can become something pretty good.
Yeah.
And ironically, I started this from a materialistic motivation point of view. Now I could care less about the Audi R8. Now I just love building things.
Yeah. So when did that move from the Amazon to the hospitality side?
I just honestly fell into it.
Was that like the next one? So like, okay, so I've done Amazon. Let's look at have a pop at Google.
So I've done Amazon as a side as a project.
Yeah.
Now where can I actually apply this and make money? And restaurants is a very obvious choice. There's so much data. There's so much polarity in the data. And again, actually,
such little people doing stuff with it.
Correct, exactly. And at the time, I was doing a master's at Oxford, and I called up all the big companies and posed as a research student.
Yeah.
And I got demos from all of them.
Oh, sweet.
And they were laughable. So I was like, this is there for the taking. And that's so Indian Accent was actually one of my first customers.
Oh, awesome.
When I picked their brain to understand how do you apply this in a daily role, and it's pretty much.
Were they the first people actually?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
what was their thought?
I mean,
obviously it was the early days.
At the time, when I look back at the product, I cringe when I see what I developed. But yeah, it was still, it still was above the competition in terms of the AI that we used and how we worked.
Yeah.
They were pretty impressed.
And did they see their rankings improve?
Yes, they did, though not by as much as I would have liked because it wasn't that powerful back then. Of course. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the value is visible from day one.
Yeah. Amazing. And then from there, building the product? Because you have a co-founder. Is it co-founder or co-director?
I built the whole thing myself actually. Yes. Over 2 years. I got into a startup accelerator called Techstars.
Yeah.
And I got a bit of cash from them, and that was in. So the side hustle was from 2017 to 2019.
Yeah.
And in 2019, I went full time.
Yeah.
And that's when I hired my CTO, who now I view as a co-founder pretty much because he's been with me for so long.
Nice. And then what's his role compared to yours? Obviously, I know what a CTO is, but
yeah. So he is. I mean, he has full control of the tech stack.
Yeah.
He scales everything. I think the amount of development I do now is just I build a POC, I'll pitch it to him, and if he thinks it's feasible in the next development run, he'll go and sort of build the whole thing out himself.
Yeah, so unlike me, I just shove everything. So I don't do it now, but when we were doing stuff, I shoved everything into a Monday board, and I said build, and about a month later, one of my devs said to me, can we just do sprints? I was like, yeah, we can do sprints. It's easy. So I added the word sprint on top of everything, and I didn't know what sprint was. How would I know? I'm not. I mess around with a bit of code here and there. So he goes, I didn't mean shove everything into the word sprint. Can you just put what you want now?
Yeah.
And then you can have a wish list of everything else.
Same questions from my CDO. He hates me, to be honest.
I want everything now.
Yeah.
So if I had all the time in the world, it would be amazing. But so that's helpful. I was told to do that, but at least you have someone who's grounding you, basically.
Absolutely. I'm more of a loose cannon. He's much more realistic in his approach.
Yeah, that's very handy to have. Okay, and then it exploded, to be honest with you. So I met you through Mike Parnham. Hi, Mike, who was at the Rum Kitchen. I'd never heard of you before.
Good.
I think you already had a nice plethora of clients. But
yeah,
how are people finding you? Was it recommendation? Was it people finding you? Were you finding them? Like, how did that start? Because now it's like a bit like a freaking your website is like
a logo sheet.
Who's who of hospitality brands? You know.
So initially, from 2019, I went from a side hustle, as I mentioned, full time in 2019. 2020, COVID hit, which obviously stopped everything in its tracks.
Yes.
Till middle of 2021, that's when sort of things started picking back up. So from 2021 till the middle of 2023, it was purely it was pretty slow, and it was just outreach by myself on my laptop.
Okay.
Between Rocket Reach, HubSpot, email campaigns. I mean, I literally have sent emails to every single restaurant operator on this planet.
Yeah.
And I'm an engineer, so I had to learn how to phrase.
How was that though?
Yeah, I mean, I love sales now. I mean, I can't do engineering. Sales is my passion now.
I've seen your videos. Like, you're not an engineer. You're definitely not an engineer. You're just like a side hustle of an engineer.
So I did discover that as a passion, actually. So I actually love sales now.
Yeah.
But it was just emailing people ruthlessly. I mean, I pissed off so many people in the industry. I've got some nasty emails
but sometimes
back.
you have to, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And I actually still have those emails printed on my whiteboard. Because it motivates me
Because
so
that
much.
one's a client, that was now a client, that was now a client.
Yeah, or that one, it will be a client. Because you said no to me, you will be my client very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very slow. Emails. Then once you reach that critical mass point where you have sort of built a name for yourself, now the outreach it's flipped. It used to be 90% outreach, 10% recommendation. Now it's the reverse.
Yeah. I think also partnerships, right? That's another big thing. So
I mean, like yourself.
Not just us, but I'm talking about others, like Chris and other people you meet. I think this industry is very much recommendation based, which I think also helps you, right? Because
100%.
If someone says we're using this and they're like, what are you using? Oh, hold on, what are you using?
Yeah.
You know, I one thing I will say, not to toot your horn, is when we were speaking to other clients who before, just about when we knew you, they were like, we've just been onboarded, we're ready to go. I said, what do you mean? They go, well, he gave us a demo and said, this is ready.
Right.
Rather than the 3 weeks of hand holding and stroking your head and making you understand the platform. And I love that, because I'm the same. I'm like, sign up for an account, have a play with it. I'll show you how it works, but go play. Because that's everyone in the industry, including me, is a kinesthetic learner. I'm a kinesthetic learner. You show me how to do it, and I know how to do it. So I think that was a nice piece from when we first started talking. Everyone, they were in a bit of awe of like, it's ready to go. Like, it's ready to go, which is I think that's a nice sort of entry into.
It has to be in this day and age. You cannot take 3 weeks to onboard a customer. I mean, the whole purpose of our platform, the whole centerpiece is automation and AI, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not on board within 24 hours, there's something wrong with your platform.
Yeah, no, I get that. But listen, there are other platforms.
Of course.
That do it. They've been like that for a while. So then it went from Google, and then what did you then reach out to? Because what other platforms did you plumb in, or have you plumbed in?
Anything and everything now. If it's publicly available, if there's no API, we'll scrape it. If it's an API, we'll plug into it. If you're working with a previous provider, you export that into spreadsheet, we'll import it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so literally, we've had customers import WhatsApp conversations.
Really?
I mean, literally.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we've converted phone calls to text, imported that.
Wow.
Literally, we can import
And then,
any
okay, so
medium.
talking about the generic
Typically.
So there's Google,
TripAdvisor, Facebook. Are probably the big three in the UK delivery platform wise.
And then for the US and stuff, have you got Yelp and
Grubhub
and
DoorDash and a few others,
Nice.
And then Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and Just Eat are the other three.
And are they natively you can respond to them within the platform?
You can respond to Google, Facebook, our feedback forms, and a few others via our platform.
Nice.
If there's an API, you can respond.
Yeah. But otherwise, it will just take you to the link.
Yeah. And now we have, just a quick side note, we have ChatGPT responses, which means you can log into the dashboard, select 20, 30, 50 reviews, click a button, and ChatGPT will assign a separate reply to each one within a few clicks, and boom, they're all out.
Quick favor here. I'm just taking a quick break on the podcast just to say I would really appreciate if you can click the like or subscribe button. That helps us grow. We're very new. And I would really appreciate it. And on with the show.
Nice. And then is that being trained? Because
we design the prompt based on your previous replies, and you can customize the tone of voice. Ironically, it's a robot which will make the replies look the least robotic.
And so and are you training that on previous responses as well?
Previous responses and the.
But you've got a ton of keywords anyway, right? So
exactly.
Are you looking for those specific keywords?
We can create like a brand identity, so to speak, and the customer can always say, "Look, this is the kind of tone of voice I want to use. I want emojis. I want to keep it enthusiastic. I want to keep it X, Y, Z," and we take that all into consideration.
That's really nice. And how many people have switched that on so far?
I would say 70% of our customers.
Really?
And there's a couple of big ones who are trialing it, and I just noticed, sorry, was the mic too far the whole time?
No, that's okay. Hey, but we can hear it better. I've turned your volume up. You're right. You're good. It's all good. So,
most of them are using it. And there's a few big ones who are trialing it now.
And then what was their responses out of interest? Like, what was the feedback you got when they started to use it?
Exponentially more productive. Again, coming back to my question, your question about AI and its transformation on the hospitality industry, as I said, it will inevitably eat into the human workforce. Previously, there were a number of people who would be dedicated to replying to reviews, and now ChatGPT will just sweep that right up.
But I think the thing is as well is that the challenge you have, and what we see on our side, is that not everyone has time, right? So the marketers that would potentially look at the feedback,
or GMs as well,
or GMs or owners or owner operators or founders would be the ones that have to sort out the marketing, sort out the database, sort out the feedback.
Correct.
Back in the day, you'd have the Google app on your phone. That's not there anymore, so you can't even respond to those apps. You get the message, and then you're sort of stuck. So we see that if you can, so with the CRMs, there's automation and there's really smart stuff with things that can do to understand which visit will be and just how to sort out the churn, which is great. And that's some of it's machine learning, some of it's just basic automation, but that's there to help them. So I think what you're doing here is if you've got a group with 50 restaurants,
exactly.
I spoke to another company a year ago, and they said to me, our brands log in twice a day before service and after service. I was like, no, they don't. I said, I don't know any brands that unless, as you said, you've got someone dedicated to do that, but they could be doing a lot more for the brand, right?
Exactly. And also, the aim is not to disassociate the GMs from the reviews. You still want them to have the finger on the pulse. But for the really monotonous ones, if there's empty reviews or simple reviews, the non-sensitive ones, you don't have to sit down and reply to each one.
So how do you flag, obviously, talking about, because I've seen the dashboard, right? So you've got green and red, right? Is it still green and red?
So we have positive, very positive, negative, very negative. We have 4 buckets of information, so to speak, and we have a concept of critical comments. So if the AI detects anything that needs immediate damage control, like I found hair in my food, I'm never coming back, the staff were extremely rude, we'll flag those up so you can prioritize those. So maybe the complex ones you want to reply yourself, maybe the simple ones, so to speak, you want to automate. So
is it still, I think it's is it in keywords? So you get, say for example, chicken. You might have chicken 7 red, and chicken 10 green or something like that. Is that something, or cleanliness, or is it individual words, or is it brings a review to the top?
No, it'll bring the review to the top. It'll tell you which ones you should reply to first. And then you can read that yourself and then maybe draft a custom reply for that. But for the simple ones, as we call them.
So you can set on the automation for ChatGPT.
It's like a wizard.
Just get that to deal with all the generic responses so that you then can deal with the important ones.
Which is usually majority of the work anyway.
Yes. Talk to me about competitor analysis.
Yeah, that's a big USP for us. In the UK, we track 60,000 locations on a daily basis. So you can literally benchmark any business against any business, whether they are a customer or they're not. And we don't just give you like a overarching NPS or rating. You can drill down and see, okay, forget speed. I want to see how attentive is my staff against their staff.
Wow.
How many times is their burger bread soggy versus our burger bread? It's a very detailed benchmarking tool, and that's the goal, right? I mean, the aim is to give you a very meticulous breakdown of your business, a scorecard, and then you can really pinpoint what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Right? So I think so you can go in and go, right, so you add in 3 competitors, for example.
Yep.
How many do you recommend when you do it?
So typically, let's say if you're a coffee shop of 10 units, you can add 4 competitors for each coffee shop. So you can add 40 competitors in.
Wow. Okay. And then that shows in the dashboard you versus them as well.
Correct. So you can see you versus the.
It's a bit scary.
Yeah, you versus the coffee shops in a 1 mile radius.
Yeah.
You versus coffee shops in the UK. You versus coffee shops maybe somewhere across the globe.
Oh, so you can do a generic NPS of the averaging of what your customers are, because now you've got quite a large amount, right?
Yeah. So no, even if we don't have the customers.
Oh, because you scrape it, you can take it anyway.
So we have APIs with Google, TripAdvisor.
So I'm thinking of your customers, but yeah, you're right. You can you can pull in the data. Doesn't matter, right?
Correct. So the APIs help a lot. Some of them Google's free, but the other ones which I probably shouldn't mention, but they charge an arm and a leg.
Really?
But it does open up doors in terms of insights for our customers.
So then that onboarding then allows you to see how well you're doing versus your local or nationally, or even the individual your coffee shop that's 3 doors down as such, right?
I'm going to compare my cappuccino with every other coffee shop that's in the same price tier in a 10-mile radius that also serves XYZ, and boom, there you have your scores.
Wow.
So it's very pinpointed benchmarking.
That's pretty powerful. And then so do you end up having marketing and ops using it?
Yes.
Because then ops are able to understand the benefits and the reporting, and then marketing obviously deals with the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, so it is
is there different dashboards for different?
No, it's the same dashboard, different pages.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, the core value proposition is for operation teams. We will tell you, as I mentioned, exactly what you have to address to get your ratings back up. That's the ultimate goal of the platform. How do you improve your ratings? But yes, for marketing, for customer experience, there are different use cases.
Okay.
So
you've got
services everyone.
So you've got the review side. You've got the competitive analysis.
Yeah.
You've got the GPT on the responses.
Engagement side.
And then
feedback collection side, which is I guess comes in the review side.
Yeah. So on the feedback collection side, where are you? Because you do your own forms now.
Yeah.
Where do people put that? Are people putting it on their website? Are they putting it on QR codes? Where are you finding that people are putting
QR codes, website, post-signing emails, emails via CRMs like Airship, Como.
So you plugged into the CRMs
all of them,
now, so they know that when the feedback comes back, they know who it's from, right?
Yeah, and now we also have a case management side coming out in exactly today is the 9th, so coming on the I think 6 more days.
Okay, nice. So basically, rather than just a feedback, it turns the feedback into a case.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. So you can assign
triage.
Tickets. Exactly.
Nice. Okay, so it's basically like we use Zendesk for a help desk, so it's like a mini like platform where you can actually assign it to people.
Correct.
Oh, sweet. That's really clever. And then it was severity and all that sort of jazz.
Precisely, yeah.
And then are you going to allow you to put alerts on there so if no one's responded after X time? And
exactly. You can monitor the average duration of closing a case, who responded, how many tickets do you get for each category.
Poor restaurant owners.
I mean, actually, when we built the product, I thought case management was forget it. I mean, I had absolutely no interest, but actually it closes the whole feedback system, right?
Yeah.
We provide all this insight, we provide all the actions they need to take, but then what happens after that? Does it actually go through?
Yeah.
So the case management gives you more accountability.
I guess you can track it more as well. So how many things were resolved? I'm assuming you'll have a tier of what the completion was.
Yep.
Customer was this, customer was that, and so on, and then you can generate reports from there.
Yeah. So it just closes off that feedback loop for us.
And then reporting. How does reporting work? Are you generating, because obviously different types of reports, there's owner, there's marketing and so on. Are you doing like a hey thumbs up on those sort of like reporting stuff, or how does that work? Because some people put, I can imagine some brands are telling GPT on for everything and then just like off you go.
We have a whole host of reports for different departments. We have especially for chefs, especially for marketing operators. The CEO gets a different report. Nice. It's very, very bespoke.
Customizable.
Very bespoke.
Okay.
And that's one of the, I would definitely say that's one of the strengths of our platform is you can literally ask for any report that you want. Again, it's almost fully automated on the back end.
So are you using natural language to people to write stuff, or you manually select stuff? Is that coming?
No, so the bespoke stuff we do ourselves.
Yes.
It's almost like a sort of a consultancy service we provide you. But the beauty is in the
we have all the data, right? So
exactly the storage and granularity of that data, so we can run any query we want across any restaurant.
So it's not like it's under development and it's going to take 6 weeks for our team to pull out the information.
Give us 48 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez, Louise, putting everyone to shame. Listen, everyone. Okay, so the next question here is this is like challenges in data analysis. What are some of the challenges you've had in gathering all this information, and especially for hospitality, because there's lots of like basic information that's out there, lots of information that's not fully complete. Another question as well, actually, on that is: have you thought about listings and stuff?
We have thought about listings again
because it's so wrong. Like Google's listings is different to their website's listing, and you go to book you go to look at the restaurant. Oh, it's open at this day. You go to the website; it's completely different.
We have had a few requests about adding a listings feature to our tool, but at the moment, it's not on our dashboard. There are a few other tools who are dedicated to listing and who do it pretty well at a pretty reasonable price.
Sure.
But never say never. I mean, I never thought case management would come in. Listings could be next.
What challenges? So going back to the question, because I completely I did a little whoop.
Challenge-wise,
what challenges have you had? Like, what have you seen? And then what's been like? Have there been any hurdles to hit?
I mean, where do I start? Data. We have had so many hurdles. There's so many aspects. So one is just the sheer volume of data that we have to collect from Google, TripAdvisor, Facebook, sifting out fake reviews. That's probably the main one.
How do you sift out fake reviews?
Yeah, we have a lot of algorithms that will tell you the credibility of an author, whether you should be considering that review into your platform, translating languages from non-English to English, and then through the AI. So there's a lot of work we had to do around the designing of the algorithms with these data sets to get to where we are. But I mean, I don't want to go into the technical details.
I think it's super interesting, to be honest with you, because it's so much data. I mean, we just do Wi-Fi, right? So that's
right.
That's data coming in and gets sent in. Great. You're actually reading actual
text.
Reviews, text,
yep.
having to decide, well, not you personally, you know, but the algorithm's reading everything.
Yeah, that's
where does the point go of like, okay, hold on, I need more resources.
So from an AI point of view, actually, it's just me. Like that's how the company started, right? I developed that AI from scratch. So it is a case of every few months. Now we have the ability of people in our dashboard can tag a particular sentence, update the categories, update the sentiment. We keep track of all of that, and the AI updates itself every few months with all the input from the users.
Nice.
And so
it's learning from the users.
It is, yeah. So I mean, that's the beauty of NLP, right? It has to be so beautifully.
You're training. It's training. Yeah. And
you have to design it so well that it can decipher text in the correct format.
Yeah. You're blowing my mind. It's not just a feedback platform. It's a lot more. But so that's really clever. I never even thought about how the customer is training the platform themselves, because and then it's tailored to them rather than this is the generic system.
Correct.
This is the feedback. This is how everything's always been done for the last 10 years.
Yep.
You're actually flipping it on its head and saying you're in the driving seat, and there isn't someone in the background going. I mean, do you get flagged if someone does something, like if there's people are like not doing how they should be doing?
So we have once people, if let's say there's 1,000 people tagging comments in our dashboard, we have a sanity layer which will check and make sure that there's consistency in the tagging.
Yeah.
It's not just a random person going berserk. But that's then vetted by humans like myself and my CTO will make sure what's going into the algorithm is correct. There is a pretty substantial manual effort, because you have to make sure the grassroots level AI is correct, because that sort of has a chain reaction to all the insights.
Generic AI can what's the word I was going to say? Where's it gone? It's gone off the top of my head. Hallucinate. It's quite common, like out there that you can do. I mean, generic API like ChatGPT. You ask it to do stuff, and it gets very confused.
Right. Yeah. So we have countless unit tests, regression tests. Every time the AI is updated, here's 1 million reviews. What were the data results for for this version? What were the results for the previous version?
Yeah.
Then we'll have a human being go and see, okay, how
watching yourself.
How drastic are those results? Are they acceptable? Do we keep iterating? It's a pretty painful process.
Yeah.
But that is the moat of our product is.
So do you think? I mean, obviously you're training it anyway, so it's getting cleverer and cleverer and cleverer as you're doing it. Do you think as you go on, it's going to be easier?
It is. The gains, it's like the 80-20 rule, right? The gains get harder and harder to squeeze out.
Yeah.
So we're currently 91% accurate.
Wow.
We started at 84%, now we're 91.
Amazing.
And it'll take longer and longer to get 92, 93, 94.
Yeah, of course.
But it's more than enough. It's more than sufficient from a operations point of view. And from a comparative point of view, I mean, there's no match.
No, none. Sorry. You keep blowing my mind. No one really understands it, you see. This is why I wanted to bring you in and talk and explain it, because you're like, oh, we have this product, it's amazing, look at it. And then they see the dashboard and they're like, oh, this is really cool. But no one really understands. There's actually a lot built behind it. Like, it's not just a bit of software. Like, it's not just a standard feedback platform that does X, Y, and Z. I have seen it. We work with others as well. You know, there are others out there, and they've been around for a very long time.
Yep.
No one's doing what you're doing, right? And the other thing is as well is that I don't think people really understand what the power behind it.
Correct. It's a very complex piece of kit, but having said that, the aim is to very consciously keep it as easy to use for the front end customer, right? Mm-hmm. And that is a very resonating piece of feedback we get. It's so simple to use. It's so intuitive. Training is honestly a 25-minute call, 15-minute demo, 10-minute Q&A, and they're off.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really helpful. I think it's amazing to see, like you mentioned, Blend earlier, tools, new startup or founders and new tech that's coming out that's making the industry better.
Yeah.
That's helping the industry to make their systems better. I think, I think the really important thing with feedback, especially, is that a lot of the time it's never dealt with. I have clients that, for some reason, I think we've still got some accounts on the Google that when we've asked by a client on the IT side, oh, can you fix our Google? Because the guy was managing it. So we still get notifications of review. You've got a review. And I was like, logged in the other day. I was like, oh, let's have a look. I think that's probably 70 reviews not touched.
Wow.
I mean, there's lots of people that just don't do it. And I think there's a worry, or they're afraid of getting into it.
Yes, there's definitely... the volume of content now is exponentially larger than what it was a few years ago. But I do say, I think people are definitely getting more switched on. They are more aware of tech that's out there. They are aware they have to do something. Now, whether they're doing it or not is a different story. But most of the guys we pitch to, they're very receptive to the tech we're bringing to the table. Again, probably.
So, are you finding that what percentage are you finding people have actually already had something in place, or someone was doing it, versus like actually we need something?
I would say 90% of people had something in place.
Yeah.
There's a few guys who are still doing it manually until we came along. But again, the guys who have existing tools, I am pretty arrogant when I say this, but I do feel the existing tools are very, very primitive. And so there's people who's used to a certain standard of insight and product from these existing tools.
Yeah.
And then when we come along, it's very obvious you can do a lot more. And it's a natural extension of what they're already doing.
Yeah, I think, listen, everything needs to change, right? And some things stay as they are. Same with POS, same with all tech.
Right, yeah.
They're products that people have always used them, and they always will. And then there has to be a new generation.
Yes.
So I think, welcome to the new generation.
I'm not sure on the new generation, but I think I'm just on the verge of catching that new generation.
True. I think the thing is that you're helping, as I said, you're helping customers, and that's what we're helping the industry. And I think if you can, so other questions back to the product. If someone leaves in like a one-star review, where do the notifications go? Is there a push, or there's no mobile app, right? It's just an email, right?
Yeah, it's just an email report that goes out.
So is there plans in the future to send push stuff, or even, have, because obviously back in the day, years ago, I think Nando's had it years ago. Back then they had a lower, I think they have a lower still here now, but there was something called Command, I think it was called Commander, I'm showing my age now. Mm-hmm. And if so, it would look for Google reviews, and if someone would leave a Google review, literally immediately afterwards, it would send a notification to like the manager app. to deal with.
So
So sometimes there are reviews immediately. Like they'll sit down and be like, "This is terrible."
So we have instant email notifications that go out in case, especially if it's a negative review.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's mainly daily reports and our dashboards updated instantly as well.
Do you think there's a? Do you think if? Or I guess it's all customer dependent. But do you think there might be a possibility, like going forward, like because you can send triggers, right? So if are you plugged into like Zapier or other bits and bobs where you can like webhooks and stuff?
Correct. Yeah.
So potentially, if someone wanted, they could send a hooker out. If there's a negative review, send a text message to this general manager.
Correct. Yeah.
So the possibilities there.
Possibilities there.
Okay.
The app has been mentioned a few times. It's just not the biggest ROI for us at the moment.
No, I agree.
But yeah, I think maybe at some point in the next 12 to 18 months, an app
Plug WhatsApp in, be great.
Yeah, we can. I mean, it's actually so simple to do that now with the APIs.
Yeah.
So we might do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you just WhatsApp the manager outbounds with the review. Maybe WhatsApp manager from the customer's mobile number, and then they can respond. That'd be awesome. Not that you can grab it, but you could scrape anything nowadays. So
you definitely can.
Use your ML to do some deep dive. Steal the customer's mobile number. Send a WhatsApp to the manager from them. This was the review, and
I'll
they
be
can respond.
deported back to India shortly.
But yeah, I think that happened. That was years ago, but that was a very basic form of it. I think. People want to. I think obviously there's GMs as marketing and so on. It's not really for the GM to respond, but it's more for the GM to know about it. But if you've got the webhooks available in there, then they can. You can do what you need.
And that's a challenge, right? Given we're such a small team, we're only 7 full-time employees, and we have quite a few customers. So the challenge is always prioritizing. We have features coming in our way every day. Yeah. X, Y, Z.
What are the top 3 that people are always asking for?
I mean, there's no top 3. It's like
top 30,
top 500. There's so much stuff coming. So it's so difficult to sift out what is the correct risk to take.
That's why your CTO is sitting next to you going, no, yes.
Actually, I think that's why in this day and age, it's so important that the CEO in today's world should actually be a hybrid CEO, CTO.
Yeah.
And then there should be a dedicated CTO. Because if you cannot understand how to apply technology to every business use case, you're going to go in the wrong direction and your ship will sink very fast.
Yeah, you're building the wrong tools for the wrong people.
Wrong tools, wrong people. You don't understand how to actually build the tool, what goes into the tool. Is it maintainable? Is it scalable?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think every single person now, regardless of age, you should have some understanding of how tech works, APIs work, because it puts everything into perspective.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're right. We're doing like 2-week sprints, little bits of bobs, just little changes here and there, nothing major, and the big stuff's waiting to come in. And I think that's really important to sort of be a bit grounded. Also, my co-directors don't spend any more money, so we have that as well. Okay, we sort of talked about it really, but this is sort of like coming towards the end. So the future of sentiment. Who has a sentiment analysis? What do you see next on with emerging tech? What do you see it pulling in? Or what do you see what's next? Is it having a smiley face at the restaurant when you leave, like our boss?
You know what? That's actually that's been recommended a few times. Yeah, we work with a few hotels and they said we want to at the check-in and check-out we want a smiley face in the
That's great.
I think it's great too.
You've got simple, effective. You've got immediate, and they don't have to deal with it. It's not QR code.
Exactly.
And it's anonymous as well, so you potentially do that. But
sometimes the simplest option is the best option. You don't always have to jump on the AI bandwagon.
No, you're right.
Something.
Yes and no. Yeah, smiley face, unhappy face. And you've got the guy behind the counter going, trying to give you the biggest smiley face possible, and it's pointing at the thingy. But you've got hotel apps now, so potentially there could be a way of if they were clever. The hotel app with the communication would be like, how's your experience?
Yeah, we already have that with a few hotels, So we're working with a few hotels, a few airports, actually. There's quite a few different... We actually got referred to a couple of retail shops as well.
I think it'd be awesome in the airport lounges as well.
I mean,
that's important.
Any industry that has a lot of customer feedback is a go-to market. It's just a matter of resources for us.
Yeah, well, it's not just hospitality, is it? So it's anything.
Yeah. At the moment, I would say 90% of our customers are restaurants, hotels, bars, coffee shops.
Yeah.
But we're definitely diversifying pretty
You've got hairdressers and whatever, right?
Actually, hospitals is a big one. Maybe not that much in the UK because it's not privatized.
Yes.
But in countries where it's private and customer feedback plays a big role.
Massive.
It's a big market.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's right. So do you plug it? So we talked about Blend before. Are you planning or do you plug into any employee engagement?
Not as yet, but it is definitely
because
on
that's
the map.
something I mentioned for Blend and for others. Really important to be able to, if your scores are doing well, show the value of it. So plugging into the people management platform.
Yeah.
Or other platforms are out there.
And even the reverse, if you're not doing well, how can Blend then come in and take some corrective action?
Yeah, so automation in place to fire that over.
Exactly. And so that's
I can see
where
your brain working.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the introduction.
My pleasure. It's. I think if the best tools together can work, hence why we plug in together as well. So we had a challenge with our customers, our mutual customers that we have, with them all being really happy with their feedback, and then they call me and say, we've got loads of negative feedback. I said, well, that's because we gate the feedback.
Right.
And we talked about it. And then, 3 weeks later, you were like, just send it in this way. And I was like, okay. And we sent it in. So it's really nice to see that you are able and open if there is someone that wants to feed in.
Yeah, we don't consciously push on integrations again because it can be pretty...
It depends on the customer. It's customer driven.
Yes,
it's not like you're going to have hundreds of partners going, I want to do this.
Exactly. It's very customer driven. And very partnership driven as well.
Of course. But I think that was actually really nice to see. Like it's and we've just actually, funny enough, so Impact Data, David, who did the questions, we've just built our little API, and they've now built into us. So they're now pulling data out of our system whenever they want.
I see.
The visits, the tracking, the links, everything, which is really interesting because they're probably the first. I mean, we're not massive, right? We've got a nice amount of customers. We're growing, not as much as you, but we're growing.
I mean, I think you guys are pretty big.
And that was really nice to see. And now we have that ability for people to be like, if you want to pull data out, go for it.
Yep.
So I think that's important. Obviously, not everyone's, it is. Okay, we've come to sort of the end, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give you a round of applause. So I'm going to turn the volume up for that one as well. There we go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
This was really interesting. My mind's like racing. I want to ask you 1,000 more questions, but I'm not going to because they'll get bored. But the next questions are the generic ones. So I think I've said best restaurant, but I mean, is that still Indian accent?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Fine.
Again, just for the record, I really don't go out much. I'm on my computer all day long.
We have to fix that, don't we?
Yeah, we do eventually.
Yeah, come to some more events. It's all good. We'll get you out. We'll get you out there. See the. Well, there's no sun, so it doesn't really matter really.
That's why I was in India for 7 months.
You were
purely because of that.
Well, you got some nice sun, so that was getting. Did you actually get out?
I did actually, yeah.
Did you get the sun, on your face to have that?
I did, yes.
Nice. That's important. Best burger.
So I'm actually vegan now. I have been for 8 years actually. 7 years. So
there's lots of vegan burgers.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of mock meats. But yeah, when I did, I think burger and lobster was one of my favorites. Go foods.
They were big.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
big chunky.
For that. I'm all lobster, all the way. I used to work with someone who did the launches.
Okay.
And when the new opened, she was like, "Adam, do you want to come?" And I think we went to the one in Canary Wharf.
West India Quay.
Yeah, West India Quay. And we found it. We sat down, and she invited. She said, "Bring a couple of people with you. We're just doing a friends and family." I don't think I've ever eaten so much in my life, but it was amazing.
Yeah, but I do miss that a lot, to be honest.
Yeah. But to be fair, the availability now of vegan food,
yeah,
not the fake stuff, but what you can make now.
Yeah,
I've just bought. I don't know why I'm saying this. I've just bought the Bold Bean Co. She got some. She went to Dragon's Den. They do like butter beans and whatever else. And I've never seen my kid open a fridge before and spoon in chickpeas in her mouth. Nice. If you open a tin, you'd never see. She'd just be like, "Ew, what's that?" She's 16. She literally opened it up, gave her some. She goes, "I'll have some more." She was spooning out just queen chickpeas like this, and I was like, "Damn!" And now I'm making with it, and it's amazing. So I think I need to go that way. Best hotel.
Best hotel. I wouldn't say one, but I've been to Southeast Asia a lot, and the resorts there, I would say, are the most luxurious resorts I've seen on this planet.
Yeah.
Nothing like anywhere else. So that's my typical idea of a nice holiday spot. Is a big resort with a beach and a pool.
Nice. Okay, perfect. We're at the end, so there are 2 questions. I'm going to give you another round of applause. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, absolute pleasure.
This was an awesome one. So there's 2 questions now for the next guest. It could be anyone from marketing, tech, you name it, operator. Do you have 2 questions that you could give me?
Actually, yes. The first one is the same one David asked me. Ooh. I would love to hear that from someone else as well. role of AI and the transformation of the hospitality industry.
Nice.
The second one is definitely more suited towards my domain, which is are you happy with the existing customer feedback insights that you get? And if you could have anything you wanted in the world from that data, what would that be? What are you missing?
Yeah.
What's the oomph that you could add?
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
And then you can add that to your list.
Correct.
He's using me. Thank you so much. This has been Prithvi from Sentiment Search.
Thank you for having me.
I can't believe how many episodes we're on. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
And say goodbye. Goodbye.